Day. What's going on, everyone? My name is Chris from Vo-Gus Prospecting. My channel is all about gold prospecting, finding treasure, doing various stuff out in the wilderness of Australia, and essentially just trying to find things that are worth a whole bunch of money, right? Like that's that's what we do here. And today is no real exception. It's been really hot over the last couple of days, and I have also been dealing with a hell of a stomach bug. I just started to come good, so I thought it's about time that I do a cleanup for the next video that is about to drop, probably tomorrow morning. And to do that, we're going to use the cleanup buddy. I have been using the Dream Mat cleanup buddy. We'll show you it right here. That thing, this beautiful monstrosity right here, now for a little while, and it's pretty good for an amateur cleanup setup. It's not too expensive. It does a good job, but it does come with Dream Mat. Now, I'm going to say some controversial things here in a minute about Dream Mat and why I've got a different mat in this little Sluice box. But before we do that, we will say hello to some people. Pitslayer, what's going on? Beastie, Matt's Crevice Tools, Travis Fuller, Caleb, what's going on from Florida? Oh man, got people from all over the world then. That's awesome. Forrest, you just, what? Hey, I was just asked to subscribe when I opened the notification you were live. Well, you got to do it now because peer pressure, right? Just sorry, drinking right now. Yeah, me too. I'm drinking hydration though. It's really hot here. Well, it has been really hot the last couple of days. Today, we got a little bit of a break from the weather. It's only about 32. Which is a lot better than 42 the other day. It was shocking yesterday. It was so bad. And I was sick, right? I had like a tummy bug. Oh, it was the pits. I was just dying the whole time. Anyway, we digress. Dream Mat. I am going to cop some flack for saying some stuff about this. So let me just ramble for a little bit. If you're new to this sort of live stream side of things, we like to go a little bit more in depth talking about subjects. You're definitely going to see some gold, so if that's what you're interested in seeing, just skip forward a little bit over this and you'll see us start working some cons down the sluice. But just for 5 minutes or so, I wanted to talk about this stuff right here. I have been using Dream Mat now for almost 10 years, and well, that's a lie, probably 6 years actually. Yeah, in about 6 years, and I've been using it fairly consistently. The reason for that is that there's a particular type of mat, their mini cell mat. Might have some of it sitting here. Yeah. This. It's full of rocks. This sized Dream Mat, this mini cell stuff, is really good on fine gold. Specifically fine flat gold that we find on Reedy Creek. And Reedy Creek's other problem is that it comes along with Cassiterite, and Cassiterite is really dense. The density of Cassiterite is a problem because you've got this super flat gold that has a lot of surface area. And that surface area, the larger something is, the more surface area it has, the more surface area it has, the more it can create friction. And it creates a lot of friction up against the Cassiterite. And the Cassiterite in Reedy Creek can be really chunky, right? So this is the Cassiterite, there's black sand here. Very, very difficult to separate away from the gold because of that friction. It doesn't like, the gold doesn't like to sink through vast amounts of it. And what I found is when you're running raw gravels, that using Dream Mat somewhat lessened the amount of cons that I was taking home, and it retained a lot of the gold, which is a hard thing to do with these concentrates. Over the years, I've very slowly started going back to expanded mesh and AstroTurf. I don't like miner's moss on Reedy Creek because of, again, the friction. It compacts, whereas AstroTurf doesn't. So I've been slowly going back to that. And the reason for that is, even though I end up with more concentrates to go through, I end up retaining more of my gemstones. And what I started discovering about Dream Mat, and we're going to go on a side quest in a minute. What I discovered about Dream Mat on Reedy Creek Gold is that the bigger flakes that have that larger surface area tend to disappear. out of the sluice. You'll get them in your pan. You'll be like, oh, I've got beautiful gold in my pan, but with my test pan, but when I sluice it, I don't have it. I'm just gonna see if I can bring up chat here too, guys. Live chat. There we go. There we go. Right. So I noticed that I wasn't seeing as many specks that were large, say above 30 mesh, in my cleanups from my high banking as I was from my panning. And upon testing, what I found was that the way that Dream Mat seems to work, the friction works against the large flakes of gold in Dream Mat. What's happening in Dream Mat is these cells channel water, so the water's coming down this way, and as it enters into this valley here, you get a dead section of water here, and you get a back turn of water up here that goes into the little capture cell, and so you get this hook-shaped twisting action. Well, because the flakes are so big and fat, they'll land in a cell, and it takes them a little while for them to agitate through that cassiterite because of friction. And in that time, that back turn is catching the piece of gold like a sail, and it's pissing them off out of the sluice. It's all right if you've got thicker, chunkier gold that wants to really burrow down, but Reedy Creek gold isn't like that. It's very fine. So I noticed that, and I started going back to expanded mesh, and then I started getting my larger flakes again. Right, so fast forward, and I'm using some of this stuff in my cleanup systems, and I noticed the same thing. I can run the cleanup buddy, and it does a really good job of stripping down a lot of the cons. Certain places I can use this and have almost no loss out of even a small piece like this. But particularly on Reedy Creek, where it's very fine, flat, glacial gold, I was getting migration, and I was getting primarily migration due to the big flakes coming down the run. Right, so I'm losing big flakes. I'm losing big flakes where I'm sluicing, I'm losing big flakes when I'm doing cleanups. So I started experimenting, and I went back to expanded mesh and whatnot on the creek, and that's worked really well. I still use sluice boxes like that out there. They're great, but time and a place. If I'm dealing with lots of black sand and coarser gold, it's always going to be expanded mesh. In fact, I've got a couple of sluice boxes on order that are going to replace a lot of my rubber matting systems, regardless of which brand they are, for this reason. And I realized that if I'm going to do that with my on the creek sluice boxes, I might as well do that with the sluice boxes I've got at home where I'm doing my cleanups. So that's what we've done. Quickly bring you over here. This is just V-matting. I just put some V-matting in here again. And like this unit itself, the 3D printed unit, is really good. This mat works for particular gold that I have in my area, and I'll continue to use it. But for Reedy Creek, I actually haven't found anything better than this. You will see gold migration. You certainly will see gold migration down the mat because it's a very small mat. But comparatively, the big flakes don't move as much. And that's what we're going to do today. I shall have a swig of ginger beer. Hydration and stomach happiness. And then we'll show you some cons. Before we jump into that, just a regular reminder, theoldmoldy.com.au is my own website. It's what I use now to sponsor all of my videos where we do giveaways, and we support patrons, and we support veterans, and we support first responders, and so on and so forth through that website. And you can pick up pay dirt, gold nuggets, you can pick up literally the concentrates that we're doing today on that website as part of the pay dirts, the gold, everything. So if you were interested in gold, crystals, gemstones, and you want to see what you might be able to pick up or experience anything like this, the Old Moldy's where it's at. That's the shameless plug out of the way. Flip the camera around twice because it does that for some reason. That's my shiny shed door. Right. Don't mind me while I fiddle with this tripod, which is going to give me hell, obviously. There we go. Woohoo! We got it. Lift it up nice and high. Right. So the reason this works is because it's just a series of really small drop riffles. So if you get the angle right, which this is pretty good for angle, the set on it, and you get it level so that you don't get weighted dirt to one side or the other, it'll shed everything but the heaviest things off. And we're going to do that. We're going to do that using this. This is Reedy Creek tin and gold, hopefully. that I've been collecting from a spot that I believe Gadsy's at today while I recover from his stomach bug. And I want to know how much gold's in it, because it should be alright. From what I saw doing some pans, it should be pretty good. Now I'm sure there's a million people probably raising their eyebrows about like why, well, you know, what can I say? I've used DreamMat so much in my videos and I've spoken very highly of it, and I still think that it's got a lot of potential, but for the most part I'm changing back because where I mine it doesn't work as well as some of the older methods, and that is certainly going to raise some eyebrows within the community, I'm sure. I wonder if I can put you in there. Can I put you in there? Nah, I tried. That's not going to happen. I'm just trying to get you close. Hang on. There we go. That should work. Just turn the head around. Whee! Oh, I've got the world's worst tripod on me today. Why did I do that? There we go. Right, now I can see chat. In truth, I would like one of those. I need to shed about 50 pounds. You'd be here for a while at 50 pounds, man. It's only a small sluice, so you got to go kind of slow. So I know we're going to have loss. Out of this as well. You get loss out of everything. It doesn't matter what you use, you're going to get loss in cleanups, especially when you're dealing with material like this. But I found less loss, and that's the most important thing. Yeah, different tools, different jobs. That's right, Jeff. Different situations call for different bits to be used. So we just watched now. It doesn't look like there's that much gold there right now, but if you actually just let it sit there, all the black sand will shed off and you'll start seeing it come out. Yeah, Carl, yeah, you finally got a live stream. Woo! Good stuff. It's nice when it works out like that, right? The Canadian hillbilly, what's going on, man? Is that the old version of the cleanup buddy? Maybe, man. I don't know. If there are different versions, I got this about maybe 6 months ago. Something like that. Yeah, Matt's crevice tools. Man, your baskets are good. I got a couple of videos coming out with your baskets in the very near future. I've been putting a pretty big delay between when I mine and when I release now because of the amount of people just getting out there and trying to smash your spots. Daniel, yeah, I actually have gnome. Oh no, it's not gnome. Oh, what is it? Washington Beach mine cons. I have some of those cons, so I'd be really keen to actually. I've got to go through them. I've had them for years. They've just been sitting there, and I've been too lazy to do them. Minus 18. Holy crap! No, thank you. You can keep that. I don't like the heat, but I also don't really like. I also don't really like minus 18. Holy shit. Have I put any more thought into making my own bucket? I've actually had a couple of guys send me an email asking me if I would like to use their buckets from a little company down in Melbourne, and I have said yes, but I've got to get back to them. That's the thing. I'm behind on my emails at the moment because I think I'd much rather take a small business from Australia than anything else, from being real. Alright. So we are just starting to see some gold. Oh, there we go. I've got a piece of migration. Let's show you that. Let's show you what's going on. See that piece there? So you're always going to get migration, no matter what. You're always going to get migration down a sluice box, especially one this small, and especially one using very, very, very low profile capture zones. The problem I was having with the Dream Mat is a piece like this, you wouldn't even see it. It would just get ripped straight off. And the reason for that, as I described before, is because it works like a sailboat. Whereas I'm actually capturing a lot more pieces up here than what I was in the Dream Mat. Like, look at that. That's a real solid line of gold up there. And we haven't done much. Look at that. So the great thing about try and set you up so you can see the gold forming. There we go. The great thing about doing cleanups at home like this is why I encourage everyone to always do cleanups at home. Never, ever, ever do them on the creek. Is because I can just run these cons again. I don't need to worry about losing anything because it's all just sitting down there at the end. I can run completely different settings next run and capture all the gold that I lost with these settings. That's how you learn. But man, I think I got 3 different sluice boxes on order to try, river sluices that is, and I'm gonna give them a crack. I just took out Angus McKirk, and I quite liked the experience of using the Angus McKirk, the drop riffle. It was very, very cool, but a little bit finicky to get right. Then I tried a sawtooth mat from Washington Beach Mining, and that thing worked great. It worked so well. Like, super impressed with how well that mat worked. So that might be a new go-to. And then I've actually bought one from Temu, believe it or not, because I want to see. I want to make a video on how good or bad that sluice box is. And I've also bought one from Viva, which is another Temu site, but for tools. And from what I've seen, I've actually got that sluice box now. It's got all the right components. It just doesn't look very well put together. So we'll see. We'll see. I reckon we'll find a really decent midpoint, I reckon. But this, just going back to this, is the VMAT has made such a difference to the efficiency of my cleanups. Have I tried a centrifuge? Nah, I haven't, man. There's a couple of guys on Facebook who are making like a jig high banker, and the jig high banker looks really interesting, but it's too much money for me to be able to get one over here. Thousands of dollars, but it looks really cool. So Daniel, yeah, no, there's plenty of gold in here, and I can see yellow. I can see yellow and blue as proper colors. It's only red and green that I struggle with. That's why I don't see all the garnets. People always send me messages like, oh, you threw out a huge garnet. It's like, it looks like a grey rock to me, man. So if you guys do have questions, shoot them through as well. It can be about anything. I'll do my best to answer them. It's always good to get these done in real time. Just letting it clear out a little bit. As I said, what will happen is these riffles will still pack up with black sand. So if you give it a little bit, and you can see it just starting to come out here now, it will reveal your gold. This is that whitewashing thing people talk about. You don't want to leave your sluice box in a creek, especially using a drop riffle system like this or expanded mesh, for too long without dirt going over the top of it, because the water will gradually erode away the heavy things, and it will do them in order of density. So once the black sands are gone, it reveals your gold, and then it will start eroding your gold. Canadian hillbilly, yeah, that's good. So you used to use like a 4 foot long with magnets under it. Unfortunately, the Cassiterite isn't magnetic, so it doesn't do anything, but it would be interesting to do that, just possibly to recover garnets and stuff. That could be a very interesting experiment I should try. Matt, cool. Yeah, man, we ship to the US every single day, Peter. At the moment, it's taking between 2 and 3 weeks. On average, it takes 1 to 2 weeks. It's just, it's Christmas time. So, but yep, we ship pay dirt to the US. We do ship it to Canada too, but the Canadian posties have gone on strike. So I can't send anything there at the moment. Now, I don't have full view of the phone this whole time, so I'm just reading some questions, guys. If I was in the eastern United States, what creeks or rivers would you want to play in? Man, I don't know any of the creeks or rivers there. Eastern, so that's New York side, yeah? Well, I've always had a dream that someone would send me a piece of New York gold, just even a single flake, because New York, it's illegal to keep the gold, I believe, in New York. And for years, I've asked someone to send me a piece of New York gold. Just like, it doesn't have to be big, like a literal flake, one flake, so I can own a piece of illegal gold. That's where I would go, and I would steal a piece of New York gold. Oh, Stephen LeBlanc, our posties are back. Not according to the Australia Post website. I'm still not allowed to send anything there. They must have a backlog. Well, it's good though, because I got a few orders from Canada that I got to ship out. So if you are from Canada and you've ordered something from my website, it's here, it's packed. It's just I can't ship it yet. Yeah, I've got people with kids paid that ordered for Christmas too, so I'm hoping that something miracle happens. Do I have one of those large bathroom spiders? Man, those are for rookies. We have house spiders, bro. We don't use bug spray. We just leave our huntsmen alone and they deal with all the mosquitoes and flies for us. I got one in the shed, actually. You want to see me shed spider? I'll show you my shed spider. We're going to take a deviation away. We're going to show 352 people what's going on. Just remember what that looks like. I got Fern asleep. Me shed spider. See? He deals with all the bugs for me. He's a good guy. I like him. He's been in here for about a year and he just eats the bugs for me. Look at that. We went away for not that long and sparkles. Oh, they just started back today. Yeah, okay. So there's a little while for the backlog to clear, I would suggest. I don't know what kind of spider that is, man. I love them because they live. I know that they live their entire lives in that one web. So they build a hammock, and then they don't move out of that. I've got one under my veranda that I've had there for 4 years. Every second year, it's had little spiderlings, but they don't go in your house. That spider, it's real tame. It just sits in its web. It's pretty big too now. Like now, it's probably that big, and it just eats bugs, man. It's great. I love them. You get the right kind of spiders and they kill the bad kind, which is even better. We got heaps of jumping spiders here too. They're super sweet. Yeah. Cup walker. Gotta have a good shed spider. King Gold, yes, Reedy has leeches right now. Absolutely. They are savage. That's why we wear waders, man, because they're tiger leeches too, so they sting like shit when you get bit by them. They don't numb you. We're going nice and slow with this. I mean, this is poundage of black sand. I probably got, maybe 3 kilos of black sand that we're getting through right now. Oh, see, hidden truth, I am a spider nerd. I'm not going to lie. I'm actually a spider nerd. I love them. I read about them and I watch shows about them. You know that spiders have, each of their neurons in their brain conducts 6 functions simultaneously, whereas humans only conduct 1. Essentially means that their brain capacity is 6 times the size of their actual physical brain. Very, very clever creatures. Very clever. People don't give them the time of day, which is kind of disappointing because they're really cool. Yeah, the red-headed mouse spider. We found one of them with Chris Undertaking. It was just traveling. They travel to find mates. They're really cool because the female lives its entire life underground, up to half a meter underground in a burrow, and she lays tripwires out from her. I'm gonna nerd out on you guys now. We're not doing gold. We're doing spiders. So the female mouse spider is one of the most has one of the most toxic venoms on Earth. And I held one of my bare hands on accident, which was not a smart thing to do. But anyway, I learnt that the female lives half a meter underground. She runs tripwires out from her burrow, and then the male, when it comes to breeding season, runs around and plays a song essentially on those tripwires. And she comes out and checks him out, and if she likes him, she invites him in, and they do the deed, and then she lets him go. She doesn't need him, and then they have babies. But the mouse, the redhead one, has to walk around looking for him. The female never leaves the burrow. Unless a prospector comes and digs them up. Oh, Debbie, yeah, I do need my spider shirt on. We need to make another spider shirt. Oh, we should do a shed spider shirt. just a shed spider shirt. Something like, not a real prospector until you share the cleanup with the shed spider, or something like that. Oh, there's some good gold in here. I know it probably doesn't look like it, but again, we're not quite done. Look, we've still got a bit to go. And we probably have a 20% loss at this rate. I would guess we have a 20% loss. And that's okay. 20%, it's fine. We're going to just let that clear out for a little bit. Before we finish it off, because I know that it'll be starting to look good. Shed spider security, yeah! Oh, I love that. Think like the gold dust from, nah, that's them, man. That's theirs. If it's in their web, they own it. Been using a 1088 high banker and it's great. Look, Dream Mat is really particular to the ground you're running. We run it pretty hard to try and get it to shed off the black sands, otherwise it bogs down. It's just experiment, man. I used to have a little book where I would take note of the pitch of the sluice box, the water speed, and I'd write it down, and then I'd see how good we did on recovery, like how many losses. And what I would do is I'd take random pans throughout the day at the end of the sluice and count how many specks I'd have in my tailings. And so then you would make a change to either the water or the angle or both, and then you would see where you're at, and then you would record the same data and take the tailings test from the end and compare, and eventually you'll find what angle and water flow works best for your ground. After a while it becomes intuitive a little bit. I would actually honestly say, I'll show you actually. Everyone worries about the sluice box itself, right? Everyone worries about this part where your dirt is separated away from your gold. Your hopper is more important. You really want as clean a rock going down into your run as you possibly can. So make sure that your hopper is running efficiently and washing rocks properly, not shedding them off too fast and not losing too much fine gravel over whatever grizzly bar system you're running. And the other thing is, at the very top of any sluice box at all, if you can, you should be running a Jarvine riffle, because they are phenomenal at catching gold. Look at that. So we have got migration. As I said, we would definitely have migration, but it's not as much as Dream Mat. Now, I know you can't take my word for it on a live stream like this because I can't show you a side by side, but in my experience, this is less migration than what I'd be getting out of Dream Mat. And you look at the amount of gold that we've got piled right up the top. It's looking good. On that last little bit through. Yeah, excited box. That's a bloody good channel name. Yeah, I would agree. It's the VMAT seems to allow the flatter gold to bury better. But then, like I've tried using Dream Mat to clean up things like ore crushers and stuff, and even then it kind of struggles with some of the round gold. It struggles with gold that has shape too. So I don't know. It seems like a time and a place kind of thing. Time and a place. I'm certainly not dissing on it because I know it works. And I've used it for years and I've recovered a lot of gold with it. But I'm bringing it to my own attention as well as everyone else's, that I'm finding myself going back to more traditional methods of mining because they seem to work in more situations easier. Alright, we're almost there. Last couple of teaspoons. You never get the last of it out of your container ever. Alright. So we'll let that clear out for a second. Far out, 418 people watching. Oh, that's a lot of people in the shed. We should let everyone else know who only just recently joined the live stream that there is a shed spider or two in here looking after things. Don't be afraid, he doesn't bite. That looking pretty damn good. Oh yeah, me shovel. Where'd it go? There it is. Look at that. We've got flat nosed and pointy nosed. Look at me shovel. It's a good little shovel. you gotta live that mining life, right? Can't be over here with a spoon. Who would use that when you could use that? Oh my god. Alright. I'm gonna give this just a minute just to shed everything off. Alright. Is it hot in that shed? Nah, brother. Look down here. See that silver? Insulation, man. We're all over that. Right. So. I'm going to argue that's probably clean enough. We're going to put it in with this pan just here. And the reason we're going to do that is because this is from the same cleanup. This is me testing the sluice out and doing some experiments and stuff. So we're adding this to this. And then maybe we'll rerun it. I don't know. What do you reckon? I'll probably turn this off. Where's the off button? Oh, other side. Woo! Oh, glorious silence. So again, this is the same cleanup. Yeah, props are due. The cleanup body is fantastic. Man, they put some effort into that. Look at that. Oh yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed that. Alright. Now, there's a little bit of stuff on the bed, as always. Good. All right. So this is essentially our first pass. I did it in 2 lots. As I said, I was experimenting and mucking around. So ultimately what I will do in the future is I'll run this over the miller table to reduce it even further. But look at this. See if we can get the shiny gold to come up. Again, it's Cassiterite and it's very hard. I don't know if you're going to be able to make out all the tiny little dots that are mixed all through it in there, because there are a lot. But we should be able to get a small smile of gold at the top. Yeah, there's that fine glacial gold. There's a lot more in there. It's all mixed in that cassiterite. So that there's probably a little more than half a gram, maybe 0.6, something like that. So 60, $70 worth of gold. There's probably another 0.2 in there. So I'd say we're just under or close to the gram, but we've definitely lost a bunch in here. So we're going to rerun it. That's what we're going to do. That's the smart thing to do. Get in the other pan. Okay. Right. Put that back down there. Put our big rock in it. Our big rock, our piece of jasper that may or may not be able to hold that down. And then I'll get our mat. So the reason that we're rerunning it now, like this, I'll set this up ever so slightly differently. I've pushed the mat further back into the sluice body. That actually creates a ramp just here. It changes how the water flows down this section. And we're also going to do one click less on water flow. So a little bit less water flow and a different angle. So the angle changes between here and about here. And that gives gold a different opportunity to drop out. So turn it on. One of the first things we've got to do is make sure there's no bubbles in it. Debubbling, very important. There we go. And we just do it again. Now we shouldn't see as much gold this time. We should see considerably less. And that's primarily because we will have collected most of it in our initial run. But we do know that we've lost a bunch of gold. So that angle is really important. That angle change offers different situations, different bits of friction for gold to drop out in. And it's that difference in friction that actually gives you the benefit of being able to capture gold. That probably didn't make much sense. It made sense in my head when I thought about it. What I mean is, if everything's uniform, it means this one particular type of gold only has one type of opportunity to drop out across the mat. By changing the angle or the velocity that water has across this section of mat, it gives it the same piece of gold, multiple different water velocities and different levels of friction per riffle to drop out. Oh, someone has donated a super chat. Hang on, who is that? Oh. Well, I have no idea what the hell just happened then. Welcome to Australian internet. And yeah, I pressed a button to try and find out who sent a super chat. Thank you very much to the gentleman who sent a super chat. I didn't see it. I pressed a button. Everything went to hell. But we're back. Oh, no, that's the same button. There we go. Yay. Oh, Lord. Whoop, now you're falling over. I usually give a warning right at the start of these things, like, oh, you know, anything could happen. It's Australian internet. Nah, Andrew, your Wi-Fi didn't crap out. I pressed a button. That'll teach me for pressing buttons. My God, it said view super chat senders, so I pressed it, and what it did was it loaded the last video I was watching on YouTube, which was about Chinese death camps in World War II, which is not like really not the thing you want to be necessarily live streaming about, but it does make for interesting viewing. NBN, nobody net. Oh man, Steve, I changed to fiber recently. They offered me a fiber upgrade, and it's been much better than the NBN, I can tell you that. How much concentrate have I got all up? It's about 3 kilos worth. Okay, I'm not allowed to touch buttons. Right, gotcha. I'm banned from button touching. Just trying to say thank you to someone who sent me a super chat. I don't even know who they are. All the chat disappeared. Terrible. Anyway, whatever. So it'd be interesting to see how much gold we actually recover from this, because I suspect our loss rate's 20%, but I mean, we don't know. We still live, yeah, Marlon, mad Marlon, Marlon mad. Yes, we are. There's the one little piece. Spider in my throat. Oh my god. Yeah, we're still live. It was just I introduced the phone to my superior technology skills. Oh, come on, Rabbit Raccoon. This thumbnail's not really annoying. Prospectors can prospect without arms. Sluice boxes can be steep. Well, I thought it was funny, that's why I uploaded it. I was like, oh my god. Because I haven't done it yet. I haven't uploaded a AI image for a thumbnail. I was like, I wonder what it will do. So what I did was I asked ChatGPT. I was like, I'm going to be doing a cleanup of Reedy Creek cons, and I'm going to be separating the gold out using a thing called a cleanup buddy. And I'm doing it live. Can you make me a thumbnail? And that's what it made. You to Clash squirt bottle. I've got an XP squirt bottle. Will this still need to go over the miller table? Not necessarily. Look, the miller table I would use the miller table if I was, say, hard pressed for time and I wanted to strip it down a lot quicker without having to re-sluice it. But what I'll do is, in the end of this cleanup process, because we're going to have 3 lots in here, I'm going to rerun all of this through this on a really low water setting. And that should pretty much clean it all up for me. And I can just do a little bit of hand panning at the end. Is that Vortex mat? Nah, man, that is V-mat. So just rubber matting you get from a hardware store, man. We are not doing the dream mat at the moment, because this is that thing. If you watch the start of the stream, I'll explain why I'm not using this at the moment. Nah, it's not lighting up yet. I'll point it out. I'll give it a second. But we might have less loss than I thought. We got one there. There's one tiny bit just there. So far we've only got 2 pieces. So maybe we have less loss than I first thought. Yeah, reducing that water flow just a little bit makes a big difference. You got to keep track of it, right? You got to do all your tests. It is, man. It's a nice little unit. I honestly hope more companies make things similar to this. I would love to see one of these where everything was able to be adjusted yourself. Like you could tilt and change the angle and the height of it, so you could have a longer one, so it needs to be taller for that instance. There's a few options here, and the 3D printers out there, people who are into it should get onto it, and ones that you can make some serious adjustment to, because I wouldn't be running this a second time, these cons a second time, if I had a longer sluice box, because a longer sluice box would allow me to put in different types of V-matting, deeper matting and shallower matting, and then that difference in friction across the depths of the riffles would allow me to capture everything in one pass, as opposed to having to do this where I have to do one whole clean out, stop, clean out, then reset. And the only thing I can adjust on this particular unit is the water flow. I mean, there are options out there. I've got the vortex matting from, what's it called? Oh man, now I can't remember what it's called. It's a green mat. It's a vortex ripple that comes with drop ripples. Whatever it is. That one's really long, but again, it's also made from rubber and it's really flexible, and you need to add extra things to make it work. So I think we've actually done pretty good. I'm looking at this now and I'm not seeing hardly anything. There's just there's one flake there. Don't know, man. Don't know. Might not have been worth running it a second time. Let's just power through it because we can. We'll overload it a little bit. Normally that's when you'll start seeing it because it'll sit on top, but man, I'm not seeing a thing. I'm not actually seeing anything. That's impressive. That's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna have to do a comparison video. Lucky I was just watching that TV show. Yeah, man, like seriously, it could have been way worse. Could have seen my bananas and pajamas addiction. Yeah, Stephen, that would be cool. See, like a meter long version of this would be wicked, but in sections. I would love to have sections of matting, different matting. You know, run it just like you would a commercial sluice box. Yeah, Flower Gold Wizards sluice box setup is pretty cool. There's a lot of creators doing some really cool stuff. Yeah, Brewers Prospecting, 100%. No mat has 100% capture rate. But there's a stark difference. Like, this is why. This, right, in the past, if I had run this stuff, let me start from the beginning. If I'd run this concentrate through this mat, on the second pass where we are now, we would have seen considerably more gold start appearing in there. And that's the thing. It's like, yeah, every mat has loss, but there's got to be an acceptable rate of that loss. Oh, man, Grant, 11C sounds beautiful. Give it to me. Send it over. I want 11C temperatures. Man, we're almost through it again, and I'm not seeing barely anything. There is a little bit, a tiny, tiny little bit. Nathan's just in the bushes watching everyone prospect. He's like, yeah, go prospectors. Go prospectors with their sluices. Me too, dude. Maybe we should hang out in the bushes together one time. If there is anyone here from New York right now and you do want to send me a piece of sneaky gold, don't write anything in the chat because I don't want you to get in trouble, but like, I'll reimburse you for the postage. Oh, I just want a piece of New York gold. Oh my god. 35.5 in Darwin. Yeah, man. That's more reasonable than what we had here yesterday, which was 42. Alright, we're almost through all of it. So what I'll do... we're just going to get my Clash squirt bottle ready. we go. Alright, that's that all done. Second pass. So the first pass we're going slower, and we're going slower because we want to give it time to clear out before we put more gold down there. Second time we can kind of pound it through if we know there's not that much gold, and there really isn't. I mean, look at, that's that really ultra fine stuff that we're capturing in there, and it's all right at the top. I can't see any pieces down here at all. So let's clear that out, shall we? The tinfoil is not actually insulation, it's to keep the government away from my thoughts. Okay. Anthony Nugent, what's going on, bro? Yeah, no, we are trying to, I'm trying to do a live stream a week, but the last couple of weeks leading up to Christmas, just with the pay dirt company getting so busy, with people buying presents and stuff, I have been very, very behind on doing this. All right. So, this is what, oh, hang on a minute. Let me just, is that a good smell? Yeah, cool. This is our second pass, right? And we're going to see gold. We're certainly going to see gold. But, I mean, compared to our initial run, look at that. There's almost nothing. Almost nothing. Like, that's less than what I was getting out of a single pan on the creek. So I lost a pan's worth. Right. Here's a question for you. We've got a little bit of time. Do you want to... Should we... Yeah, we should do it. Let's do it. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this out. Drain some of that water off. And we're going to rerun the last of the cons. So, that was loud. We're going to run the cons that we've cleaned up one more time. And the reason we're going to do that is to try and strip away all of the black sands in it. Now, we're not going to run all of it exactly. Rock, just to keep that down. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to suck this gold up because it's already revealed and it's mostly not clean, but it's much closer to being clean than the rest of it. Right. Now, this material here, coupled with what we just did here, is going to go back through that sluice box. So it'll only take us a couple of spoons, but we're going to run it really slow. And what I mean by that is not necessarily, we're not actually going to change any of the settings. The settings are fine, but we're going to run the spoon for spoon slow. So we're not going to dump it in real quick. We're going to go nice and slow because what we want is to give this every opportunity it can to shed off as much of that black sand as it can. Here we go. So besides what we just sucked up, this is our supercons. So we're going to let it go. See, we've already got one big piece down here. That's how they like to travel. Big pieces, man, they just, they like to run away. Tracy, nah, the wheelbarrow I clean out really regularly, man. There's almost nothing in that. A lot of the time it's done for ore crush. So unless the ore's super rich, which it very rarely is, there's no need to. Oh yeah. So remember, we sucked up a great wad of gold, but still plenty left in that dirt. 438 people in my shed. Can't believe none of you are... Can't believe none of you are afraid of the shed spider. I haven't named that shed spider. I should name him at some point. Nothing generic. I want to name something cool. Like Winston. Now all of this gold and the cons are going to be put back together after the video premieres probably tomorrow, and is going to be sold in slobber bags. So if you would like to get your hands on this, and we've got slobber bags from a couple of different creeks, including Garnet Creek. The website's where it's at. They're only 26 bucks. We've got sparkle bags too that have lots of gemstones, and we've got a shit ton of amethyst and stuff coming up for sale in the very near future, and gold nuggets. So there's a bunch of stuff. If you haven't checked out the site, just my shameless plug. That's how I make my living, after all, and I shall promote it. That is as much as I can get out of hand with my shovel. Alright. There's no cons left on that. There we go. Okay, so that's everything rerun. So we've got all the stuff that's in this bottle here. See if we can actually see it. There we go, we've got all of that stuff in there, which is mostly gold. And then this. So what we've effectively done is we've stripped our gold, then we've made sure that there wasn't significant loss, and then once we knew there wasn't significant loss, we used those settings to strip away as much of the black sand as possible from our total cleanup. Jerry the shed spider, he sounds like a Jerry. Solomon, Sylvester, whoa, how do you say that? Stanislaus? I kind of like Stanislaus. That's cool. Oh, Bass. Yeah. That's actually a really good point. When you put your spoon into the flow, and this goes for river sluices as well, anytime you interject your hand, it changes the friction on the bed, or an obstruction onto the bed. It changes the flow, it changes the friction, and you will definitely blow gold out. Like with 100% certainty you will. So when I put my shovel into the sluice, I put it right here where the water is there, and the water takes the concentrates off the shovel. And you can see down there that we've got gold caught immediately. So there's no issue with that, but I would never put this down into the water. Right, we've let that run for a little while. I don't think we're going to clear too much more black sand out of that, unless I let it sit here for like probably half an hour or so. Maybe we should. Maybe I'll do some, hang on, I'll press the button. Oh, I got away with pressing that button. Woohoo! I'm going to give that just a couple of minutes to clear out, and then we'll clear it out and have a look together. But I'll open up this as an opportunity for people to ask questions if you want to talk. And yeah, we'll go from that. Benjamin Gus there, can you give me a shout out? Man, I get asked, people ask for shout outs all the time. There's your shout out, Benjamin. Everyone go over to Benjamin's channel and tell him that Chris sent you. Man, I love doing this. It's so much fun. I love seeing the gold come out. I love being able to share it with people. It's just brilliant. Stanislaus the shop spider. Yeah. I Man, my life's been crazy recently. The amount of work we've gone into setting up the old moldy, sort of changing the way how we do things on Vo-Gus prospecting. It's been really rewarding, but also super draining. So I'm super happy to be having a break soon, which would be really good. And yeah, no, I'm super looking forward to being able to share some of this new stuff with you in the future. Am I ever going to come to Canada? I've been to Canada, man. You got to check out my Pioneer Paulie series on the channel already. Does pineapple belong on pizza? Yes. If you don't like pineapple on pizza, that's okay, but you shouldn't stop other people from having it. My daughter is getting, hang on, my daughter is watching with me. Can she get it? Grace, I don't know how old you are, but if you're of the age where you need permission to do things, I'm the random YouTuber online that you're watching right now is giving you permission to go to the fridge and pick out any snack you want and have it right now. You can do that, but this only lasts for the next 5 minutes. There you go, Josh. Enjoy, Grace. Best pump size for a high banker. Oh, Bass, that's an open-ended question. How big's your high banker? I love my 1-inch pump. It's really good. It's small enough, it's light enough to fit in the backpack, take it reasonably far away from the car without much effort, and it delivers a lot of power. But that would be an undersized pump for a lot of high bankers, so it just depends on your high banker, man. Am I collecting the tin cons because of the $29,000 a ton at the moment? Nah, I sell it, bro, and paid it. Look, I'll show you. Let's just do it. We're almost there. This is clearing out really nice. But I'll show you. Look. So all of this is from our cleanup today. All of that, right? All from the cleanup. This is all going to go into the slobber bags and whatnot, right? So that's slobber bags, 1 gram, half gram pay dirt. It's what it's going to make up. So all the gold goes back into that, and then that's how we make slobber bags. But man, I don't need to save the tin that I mine. I can just go get it. I know exactly where the Eldorado dredge dropped off all its tin, and you can just go pick it up. I got oodles of the stuff, man. This is easy to get, and it's not really worth it for me at this point. I have Leo Brado. Hang on, I've got to press buttons. Leo Brado, $20 super chat. Holy crap, guy! You generous mother rudder. Thank you. Appreciate that. That goes a long way to helping the channel out. I tell you what, yeah, it's brilliant when people jump on and do that. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. The tin, I've actually got a smelting setup for it that I want to do some tin smelting, but it's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it. I'm still refining the art, and I don't want to just jump into making videos and content on it before I'm ready, before I know what to do, so I can give you guys the right information. Right, that looks like about right. So let's do it. You can look up my nose for a second. Hang on a minute. Yeah. Okay. So we've obviously cleared out a whole bunch of whole bunch of black sand. First thing we're going to check is this. I just want to look in here in our tailings quickly and see if there's anything obvious, because there might be a ton of loss, but let's see, 1 flake, 2 flakes, 3, 4, yeah, a little bit. All right, so that will be hand panned down later. This will be the easy stuff to get out. The other stuff that's in that catch pan, this is the way that we make it easy to get out, right? Like, so this is the way that we've reduced it down to a point where I'm going to be able to clean this up in a few minutes, and then I can go through that other stuff at my own leisure. All right. So there ends our need for sluice boxes. This is what we were left with out of the mat. That's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good, but we've got to add this to it. Except for the fact that that was my Clef Snuffer bottle, and that's not the one I needed. This is the one I needed. I was like, why is there nothing in that? That's so confusing. There we go. There's gold in that one. Oh, God, helps if you get your bottles right. Right. So I'm not going to finish this whole process up today, but we are going to have a quick look at the sort of gold that came out of this cleanup. That is looking real fine, real tasty. That is what I'm talking about. There we go. So it took us an hour to do it, right? But hand panning, I can tell you right now, with the amount of the amount of black sand we had to process, hand panning probably would have taken me 6 hours. I'm going to guess 1.5 grams, somewhere in that range. That's a pretty good take. Look at that. And super fine. We'll get a little bit more out of our cons. That's good. Love that. Super cool. Very happy. I mean, like, you just can't argue with cleanups like that. This is one of the worst cleanups from this spot too. We've got some really good cleanups coming that should be multi-gram days. Oh, what a way to finish the year out. There you go. So, long story short, long story short, we've got a whole bunch of videos coming out on this spot where we're getting really good, consistent gold and a lot of gemstones. The difficulty in this spot is that the water is really deep. Even when the water's low, it's chest height, and I'm not on the bottom, and it's only getting better. So I'm at a stage now where I kind of need summer to hit to drop that water level enough for me to be able to get in there and really start working it. So we'll see what happens. But I've got 3 more cleanups sitting next to me from that spot. So there's 3 more videos after the one that's going to premiere tomorrow. And I will put a post up about that. I would really appreciate it if all you guys could jump on and join me for that premiere. The faster you guys watch videos, the more YouTube distributes them for me. And it's a weird scene these days being a creator. So that's just one of the ways that helps out immensely when it comes to getting your videos to go far and whatnot. And otherwise, again, like I said, check out the website if you are interested, because that's a way you can help support me directly without having to go through a third party like YouTube. For everyone who has jumped in and been part of this, I hope you guys have had a whole bunch of fun and enjoyed watching the cleanup and seeing the process that I went to make this work. Right, yeah. Flash in your pan. When am I coming back to that side of the planet? Oh, bro, it's money and time, right? Got a family, got a young family, and costs a whole bunch of money to travel on my own, yet alone traveling with a whole family. So I would love to, but yeah, it's just one of those things. We'll see one day soon. Fernie's looking at me like she wants to go do something, by the way. Oh, no. Yeah, we're going to walk off. See how it is. At any rate, I'm not going to ramble on too much. I am pretty knackered. Like I said, I'm recovering from a stomach bug, so I'm just going to go down and probably sleep after this. It's going to be great. I love every second of it. Until next time, guys, I am going to press buttons and it'll probably end the stream. Have a safe one. Merry Christmas and New Year if I don't see you before then. Bye, guys. Bam. That's true.